to save thousands of dollars, you need to not just think about the money you're saving up front, because guess what? Some of the vehicles with the biggest rebates have the biggest depreciation. If someone offers you an incredible rebate on a Jaguar, and you're like, I'm getting $10,000 off a new Jag, but you're going to be trading it in 2-3 years. Oh boy, you think you're getting a good deal at the beginning, but you're going to be realizing you got a really bad deal. You did not buy the right vehicle to be reselling 2 to 3 years later, because when it comes down to it, cost is about purchase price, maintenance, repairs, and selling price. So that's advice to save you thousands of dollars. And we're going to be talking about the top 25 cars that hold their value the best. And then we'll talk about the 25 cars to absolutely avoid in another quick episode. So this is from IC Cars, if you want to follow along or read the article later on. But here's the big takeaway. EVs that used to hold their value the best are now depreciating the most. So overall, EVs are, if you're thinking about quick resale, EVs are vehicles to avoid. Think Porsche. Usually, most Porsches really hold their value really well. Not the EV Porsche. That's the worst on for them. So vehicle segments that hold their value well, hybrids are the best for holding their value, over some of the best for holding their value overall. But trucks, if you're willing to spend extra money on fuel, trucks hold their value really well. When I bought my Lightning, EVs were holding their value really well. If you think back in 2019, EVs held their value the best out of the category. They were holding their value at 67.1%, and now they're down to 49.1%. So EVs right now are not holding their value very well. Hybrids are pretty good. Trucks are very, very good. They're the top. People love their trucks here. Now, if you're in Europe and you're watching this, maybe that's not the case. But these are your vehicles that hold their value the best. Porsche 911 Coupe. Average 5-year depreciation, 9.3%. The WB, that's right, on an electric or hybrid vehicle, don't touch the orange wire. That's trouble if you're a mechanic. Don't play around these vehicles unless you're trained. Porsche 718 Cayman, great. You know, over 5 years, a vehicle losing 17.6% is fantastic. So average dollar difference from SRP for the Cayman, $13,300. The Porsche 911 will have depreciated $18,000 over 5 years, but that's only a 9.3% depreciation because these vehicles range from about $120 to $250,000. You've got the Toyota Tacoma. You are doing really good there. Depreciation, it's the third on the list, is 20.4%. So over 5 years, you're losing $8,359. Of course, that's if you sell it yourself, because if you trade it in, when you trade in a vehicle, if you get shown the vehicle it sells for, they're playing around with numbers somewhere. They're either not giving you a manufacturer rebate or selling new higher than they should be, or they have some sort of dealer administration fees. I'm much more skeptical of someone offering me retail price for my trade-in, because then I know that there's something extremely fishy going on elsewhere. They're lying to me and distracting, they're smoke and mirrors in one area, so they can be robbing me from my pocket in another area. Now, the Jeep Wrangler and Wrangler Unlimited, over 5 years, 20.8% depreciation, or $8,951 over 5 years. I don't have Marie to take care of the calculator, the WB, so maybe you could help me out with that and let the group know, what is 18,000, the Porsche 911, for example, if you lose 18,000 over 5 years, how much is that cost per year? So that's really interesting, because most people finance their vehicles and they look at their monthly, and that's all they want to think about. But if you have, let's say, a Porsche 911, and this is an extreme example, but you have a crazy high monthly of $3,500 per month. But then let's say you're only losing $4,000, roughly $4,000 per year in depreciation. Well, you need to take that into account for when you resell it 5 years later, because you might instead buy a vehicle that's $900 per month. But but then it depreciates so much that when you go to sell it 5 years down the road, the true cost was $4,000 per month. Well, wouldn't you have been better off driving a Porsche 911 instead of some vehicle, generally vehicles that depreciate a lot, is because people don't like them. You probably will like them less than a Porsche 911 or a Corvette, the WB. Now you've got the Honda Civic at 21.5% or $5,817 of depreciation over 5 years. Subaru BRZ, the Subaru BRZ at 23.4% or $8,114 of average depreciation if you sell the vehicle yourself over 5 years. Chevrolet Camaro, which is discontinued, 24.2% or $10,161. Toyota CHR, 24.4%. $6,692 over 5 years. The Subaru Crosstrek. I like Subaru, but I'm a little iffy on when it comes to their models with turbos. They scare me quite a bit. 24.5% depreciation or $7,214 over 5 years. The Toyota Corolla. I love the Toyota Corolla hatchback. One of my favorite cars. 24.5% favorite new cars. Really not one of my favorite overall cars. And when I say favorite cars, I mean non-sports cars, just like a small commuter vehicle. Toyota Corolla, top my list. Mazda 3, top my list. But the Toyota Corolla wins compared to the Mazda 3 because of depreciation. 24.5% or $5,800. Ford Mustang, love it. Great daily. This thing, I've driven Mustangs in 3 or 4 winters, 3.5 winters, never had an issue, drove through snowstorms, always had decent to great tires, but even one winter I had some Saloon tires. They were half worn at least, and I still got through the snowstorms. 24.5% depreciation or $10,000 over 5 years. Porsche 718 Boxster. They call it the poor man's Porsche, but I think with it being mid-engine, it makes more sense than the rear-engine 911, but it depreciates more at 25.1% for 5 years or $20,216. So your real cost is, the $20,216 plus what you paid monthly and put in for maintenance and repairs. Your Toyota Tundra, 25.3%. I'm surprised the F-150 isn't above it, but 25.3%. or $12,588 for 5 years. So after 5 years, when you resell it, if you sell it yourself, you'll have lost roughly $12,588. Not bad at all, folks. That's a smart vehicle to have. But I do like my Ford F-150s. Kia Rio, 5-door. Nope, not going to touch a Kia Rio, but 25.8% depreciation or $5,000. Porsche 911 convertible. Oh boy, this is what I ordered. I've got a $5,000 deposit on a Porsche 911, and I'm so disappointed to see that it's down on the list compared to the coupe. 26% depreciation, still amazing. That's great. That's fantastic. But it'll be $42,000. $227. So if I buy the Porsche 911 convertible, I've got the deposit on it, $5,000. I've been promised to get that back if I change my mind and let's say get a Corvette, which I almost did this week. But I'll lose apparently $42,227. Honda HR-V, 26.2% or $7,300. Subaru Impreza wagon, 26.2% or $6,900. Kia Rio, not touching that. 26.3% or $4,900. If you like the Kia Rio, tell me I'm wrong and why. Why is that a good vehicle? Why do you like your Kia Rio? Chevrolet Spark, wouldn't touch that either. Too small, not attractive, but 26.6% depreciation over 5 years or $4,700. The Toyota RAV4 at 27.2% or $8,800. Then after that, going down, you can read it yourself, but Hyundai Accent, Toyota 4Runner, love the 4Runners, Chevrolet Corvette. Now the Chevrolet Corvette, it's as if they've ignored the new model, because the new model as a 2-year used is, even with the huge crash on Corvette values, they're now selling a two-year-old models at MSRP. That's where the asking prices have gone, but they're saying you're going to lose $22,000 for 5 years. But what's interesting is because there's a wait time to get a Stingray, if you buy a Stingray new now, you might just be able to sell it at MSRP. But I am starting to see Stingray Corvettes brand new available at MSRP, and I even got offered to order one with I'm being promised it'll show up this summer. I don't know if I should believe them or not. My last question was, will the deposit be 100% reimbursed if I, choose to take my 911 convertible order, or whatever reason I might not take the Corvette? Will I get it back? But Marie is very, very much, the WB is right. These prices are based on if you buy at MSRP, not if you buy with a markup or dealer fees. Avoid all those. Don't pay for doc fees. Don't pay for dealer fees. Tell your dealer you're not interested in buying if they're going to have fees or markup. Shop around. Someone will sell to you now without markup on it. You've WB, thank you for letting me know that summer does sound right now for Canada. And I'm very tempted to switch the Lightning for a Corvette. We'll get into that a little later on in the live. We've got the Chevrolet Corvette, very tempting. Nissan Kicks, wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Don't want to even be seen in one. I'll walk home instead. And you've got the Subaru Impreza. I wouldn't steal one, but if someone threw me the keys and told me drive it like it's stolen, well, I would. I think the Subaru Imprezas are cool. I like how they look. So the overall average of the top 25 vehicles in regards to depreciating the least on the market, it works out to overall average, they're saying 38.8%. That's the overall market average, because this list is the worst depreciation on the list is the Subaru Impreza at 27.8%. But overall market average is 38.8%, or $17,221. So you look at the overall average, a lot of vehicles, the average vehicle works out to cost of ownership between buy price and sell price is $17,221. A Porsche 911 Coupe at $18,000 is like having a regular, normal, average vehicle for cost. Because you're going to buy it at a price, you're going to sell it at a price, and you'll be reimbursed most of those payments. Yeah, your Porsche 911, you need to swing a $35,000 or $4,000 monthly payment. But after 5 years, if you sell it, and you sell it at a price that is $18,000 less than your initial buying price, all those payments are coming back to you. So that's kind of my idea. However, I wasn't thinking of a coupe. I kind of wanted a convertible, but now that I have two used Porsche 911s in the garage, maybe I'd keep one. If I get a new one, maybe I could get a coupe and just keep one in the garage, because 5 years of ownership at $42,000 is like what? $8,000. It's $8,000 per year, roughly. That's a little less tempting. The coupe a manual coupe starts to become a very tempting proposition. So that is our episode for vehicles that depreciate the least. So those are vehicles that you want to buy. Those are vehicles that are going to save you thousands of dollars, because they're everyone always thinks about how much is it going to cost me per month, and they're not thinking about what's the resale going to look like. And a small part of the reason why I prefer a Ford F-150 over a Ram is resale. The F-150 has better resale, and after 5 years, it won't rust. I've seen a lot of Dodge Rams, and Ram 1500s and GM trucks that after 5 years are starting to have a bit of rust on all the fender flares and corner cabs. That the rust has started. So that means at year 10, it's going to be perforated. That affects your resale value. The F-150, they're not 100% aluminum, as I sometimes hear in the comment section, not our live chats, because you're all pros, but comments left on the channel. Especially shorts. Shorts, you get people that are just there to troll. And they're like, oh, I'll buy a Ford when they stop making the frames out of aluminum. The frame isn't made out of aluminum. It's made out of high-strength steel. But I like a Ford truck because I like how it looks. I like the power. I like the fuel economy. The Toyota Tundra with the 5.7-liter V8 used to have, pretty bad fuel economy. And the resale on the F-150 was better than the Ram and the GM. So for me, it made sense to pay a little bit more per month to get that and more back when you go to sell your vehicle. And I really thought that the Lightning would cost me very little. I figured worst case scenario, depreciate by 10 grand on trade-in. or that maybe I'd sell it for the same price I bought it for after 6 months. But that's depreciated a lot because Ford has dropped the price. And here's the problem with price drops. Everyone in the media is like, yay, Tesla dropped their price by 10 grand. Yay, Ford Lightning's dropped by 10 grand. Isn't it amazing? It sucks if you're an owner. It really, really sucks. So Ford, Tesla, stop doing this. Just change the product, if anything. Run it to the end of the line and then come out with a whole new model with a different battery technology. So then you can say, well, with this battery technology, that's why the price is this price. Because it really sucks when you have your vehicle value ruined. Because your real cost of ownership is not your monthly payment. Your real cost of ownership, of course, is the month. It's not even the monthly payment unless you're keeping it for 20 years. But if you're going to be reselling it, it's all about how much did you pay, how much did you sell it for, how much money did you put into maintenance and repairs. And so far, I'm not horrified. I've brought in the black Porsche 911 2000 for maintenance, and I put $800, I think, into it. And it was an oil change, an air filter, and something else. Something to do, yes, the fan. I had to switch a relay for the fan because the intermittent fan, the slow running, when you're running at slow speeds, that fan was not coming on. Yeah, outside of reviews, Kia Rio. Yeah, that surprises me. I'm really surprised by that. All right, so